Can you beat Kingdom Hearts without taking any boss damage? Short answer, yes. Thank you for watching. No, okay, but assumedly, you clicked on this video because you want a little bit more detail. The who, the what, the when, where, how. I got you. Hey cool people, I'm Nick, I'm a he, him, and I was able to beat every boss in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix without taking any damage. Now grab your Keyblades, and let's unlock this video. People like a challenge. Challenges keep things fun and engaging. People can only run through a game so many times before they need to do something different, something to spice things up. That's the reason randomizers are so popular. Added flavor, added challenge, it flips a game on its head. A game that someone might have memorized every nook and cranny of, and makes it fresh, makes it new again. It forces players to change the way they think, the way they approach a problem, and the way they play. And that's a good thing. In my case, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 1 annually, sometimes multiple times a year, since it first came out in 2002. I was enamored with Kingdom Hearts. The story, the characters, the gameplay, I loved it. Every long-lasting Kingdom Hearts fan has a game in the series that convinced them, consciously or subconsciously, to decide, that's it, I'm buying every game that comes out. This was that game for me. And each time I played it a little differently. Sometimes I would try to play with only the Kingdom Key, sometimes I would play on the harder difficulty, and sometimes I would try to assess, like, how would Sora do it? And try to play the game that way. I was big into role-playing back then. Let's not discuss my YouTube-specific Sonic OC. Jesus, that's a niche joke. But what kept bringing me back, aside from my love of the story, was my constant drive to play it in a new way. New little challenges to try, new little ways to do things differently, game sharking my data, fun. And I don't think it's an understatement to say that all of my admiration and creative ways of re-experiencing Kingdom Hearts would be expanded upon when Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix came out in 2013. I could experience new bosses, new enemies, new abilities, a changed synthesis system, updated graphics, and I could experience cutscenes that Western audience had never even seen. Heck, if I wanted to, I could cut my previous 50 to 60 hour playthroughs completely in half, because I can now skip cutscenes. It was such an exciting time for me, especially to be able to play and replay Kingdom Hearts 1 as I had never experienced it before. I just phased out like the trailer guy from 2000s movies. This summer, experience Kingdom Hearts like you've never seen it before. Anyway, unfortunately, I didn't know that I was on the road to dusk, and it's inevitable. In time, the novelty fades, the sun sets, and I was back to trying new challenges, new ways of playing, even dipping extremely lightly into speedrunning. Turns out that's not for me. But there's only so many ways that I can experience a game I've been playing for nearly 20 years. But in September of 2021, I had an idea. What if I did a Proud Mode run without taking any boss damage? Well, no, not an original idea. It was a new way for me to experience Kingdom Hearts, a new challenge. Originally, I wanted it to be a way I could test out the efficacy of my boss guides, but as I booted up the game and tried this challenge, this bashing my head against the wall style of challenge that I never dared before, I found myself experiencing something different, but familiar. As inevitable as the coming of dusk was, so too was the light of dawn. Let's talk a little bit about the specifics, then go into the nitty-gritty of what went down. Specific-wise, I had 2 rules. Rule 1, beat all bosses, mini-bosses, and secret bosses without taking a single hit on Proud Mode. Rule number 2, if I do get hit, I have to restart the fight, whether through dying and continuing, or a soft reset, or, whatever other means I could. And no, I wasn't going to end the challenge if I failed. I'm a masochist, but not, that much. There was also, a secret 3rd rule where if a boss had standard Heartless fight with it or before it, they counted too. As long as I couldn't exit the room between fights. So the Heartless fight before Captain Hook, for instance, that doesn't count. But the Power Wilds with Clayton does. Or another, for instance, the Soldiers before Guard Armor definitely counts. With my rules in place, my venture into the unknown began. Take it away, Toad. So, is it possible? Realistically, yes. I mean, we can just do it. There's no barriers, and we aren't forced to get hit at any point. That just means it's all about strategies. But what are the strategies? How do we get from point A to point B? I've got the answers for you. Forewarning, this is going to be a bit of an overview of each boss. If you're interested in seeing me do it in a more of a Let's Play highlight reel style, then there will be a card up in the corner to my no boss damage playlist. And I'll also put it on the end screen too. With that said, let's talk about the strategies I used, boss by boss. Real quick, last thing, let me just... There we go. Alright, let's begin. So, Darkseid is the first boss of the game, and it's got a face only a mother could love, or certain hentai girls. It's pretty easy to defeat without taking damage. First we sidestep its big slam, second we defeat the shadows that appear, and last we parry its energy blast, which is all that's needed to skate by without a scratch. That's one for the win section. Next is Riku. Don't let him clap your cheeks 6 times like he did me. The key to beating Riku, pun intended, is about the most fun thing ever, counting. So he'll do his big kick after 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's important to keep track of how many hits we've done, and that we never let the 4th hit be a finisher, lest, we get clobbered. If we do lose count, don't spam X. Instead, we should start doing repeated 2 hits. Eventually, Riku's health will get low, and he'll start doing his big kick in less than 4 hits, so using our combo finisher will just leave us open for a big blue boot to bust up our beach. 1 more tally to the win section, and 6 in the loss section. Wakka is next, and fun fact, John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender from Futurama, voiced Wakka in Final Fantasy X. And that's interesting to me because here's a strategy to help him get bent.
Shut the hell up!
The strategy is to hit his ball back at him once, stunning him, and then do repeated 2 air hits. If the rhythm is kept, then he'll be stun locked, allowing us to defeat him without any issues. Selphie is after him and is also easy because of my Selphie level up strategy. How it works is, she does her leap attack, we parry it, and then we take a few steps back, and she'll make like Goofy and do it again. But what'll happen is she'll get stuck doing this attack repeatedly, which slowly ticks down her health until we either, mess up the pattern, or if her health is low enough, we can hit her to end the fight. As for Tittles here, I know we all struggled with him back in the day, except here's a strategy to just not. Wait for him to do a front flip, walk to the side of it, then combo him, then run up to him and he'll do a back flip. Then he'll immediately retaliate with a front flip. So we'll just sidestep that again, and then combo him again, and repeat until he's defeated. Who's laughing now, pal? Here's where it can get difficult. I lost 64 times during the U3 against me battle. And I thought threesomes were supposed to be fun. Earlier when I said this is like a head bashing challenge, this is what I meant. Sometimes, some fights can just be an absolute nightmare. But the strategy that worked for me is to stun Tidus with Wakka's Blitzball, then stun Wakka the same way, then combo the crap out of Selphie until Wakka comes to. Repeat until Selphie is defeated. Now we restun Tybalt and Wakka. Then we do the Tidus strategy from earlier until Wakka recovers, and then stun them both. Repeat the Tybalt strategy. When Tigris is down, stun Wakka one last time, and then do the 2-hit air strat we did before. On paper, easy peasy lemon squeezy. In practice, hardy party lime Bacardi. Nailed it. Next is Darkseid 2, Darkseid's Revenge, and somehow I lost 3 times. My big issue was judging energy blast distance with the Keyblade as opposed to the shield that I used in Awakening. And yes, I picked the shield. Kick rocks. Also, I'm not going to talk much about the repeated bosses unless I use a different strategy for them. Next is Leon with only 1 loss.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
As for the strategy, we'll air hit his fireballs back to stun him, then combo him from behind, which knocks Leon far away, and if he jumps towards us, we'll air combo him while he's landing, ideally also to, again, knock him away. Otherwise, we just need to social distance from him. 6 feet, sir. 6 feet! 6 feet! Against guard armor, I had 13 losses. The speedrun strat is the way to victory here. We do 2 air combos to guard armor in the beginning, assuming it walks up to us, or a single well-timed air combo if it spawns on top of us, which can happen. Do a few more air combos, and then after the body slam, which we have to jump to avoid, we do 2 body combos to knock it down, and then focus a foot until it breaks, or until guard armor separates its arms. Then we focus an arm until said arm breaks, and then we refocus the first foot, Then, once the foot breaks, we'll switch to the other arm till it's broken, then go to the second foot, and after that shatters, we attack the body. Also, be ready to parry its stomp or arm spin when the respective body parts are detached. Or, if you're a pro gamer, hide behind Goofy. I also found out, fun fact, during the soldier portion, if you're far enough away, the soldiers will just despawn. Soldiers out here like... Now, we'll hop over to Wonderland and do the card/guard tower fight. And, yeah, mini-bosses being included was a choice. A good one? No. I had 6 losses to the tower. Here's some quick tips. We should stay airborne and melee the queen when possible, because it incapacitates the red cards. Keyword there, melee. Magic does not keep the queen down for long, it's weird. For Trickmaster, which feels like a very overconfident name, it didn't even try to guess my card. The strategy I use is a mix of a speedrun strat and a strat that I came up with. And if you choose the staff during Awakening, this will be a good one for you. We start the fight casting fire, then we leap up and hit Trickmaster. Now kick it while it's down. Then climb up back to the table and cast fire when possible for extra damage. Use the chair if the table is smashed to reach Trickmaster's head for air combos, or vice versa. Also, when it lights its batons, stand between its feet. Every fire-based attack will miss you. Dodge roll when it leans up because it will slam down on you and smack the shit out of you like you're a mariachi in Coco. Let's switch gears over to Cloud, who is actually surprisingly easy if you have Slapshot, because you can just do this. Sad thing is, I did lose against him twice, so I had to redo the whole preliminaries 3 times. Gross. Yeah, fuck you, Nimbus boy. Cerberus is, of course, next, and Cerberus is really stupid easy. When it stops to do its whittle bites, we do 2 air hits after all the heads bite, and then we do a full air combo after only 1 head bites. Then, when it gets ready to vomit, we jump onto its back right leg, and then onto its back. Then, we repeat the combo portion after Cerberus vomits twice and stops moving. Aw, little Sylvie got a little tummy ache, poor baby. Poor baby. Sabor wasn't my first gold win, but it was a surprising one. The speedrun strat really does wonders. We need to hang out in the threshold between Bamboo Thicket and the camp, and just wait. Then, we wail on Sabor after its 2-paw swipe. Next. Clayton was... So the first thing I learned was the speedrun strat of doing 2 repeated air hits so we don't knock Clayton away. The second thing I learned is that we can jump over his gunshot at the start of Phase 2. That's this Stealth Sneak portion. Our goal is to combo Stealth Sneak until it leans forward, then do repeated 2 hits until Clayton flies off. And we can do Thunder for additional damage before Clayton is knocked off. Then, have Goofy and Tarzan focus Clayton while we hit Stealth Sneak until it gets stunned, not necessarily defeated, just stunned, and then we focus Clayton too, and I actually ended up finishing Clayton off, not like that, with Sonic Blade. Opposite Armor is where I realized my first big mistake. Don't make this mistake. I went with the questions that give you slow leveling, because I figured it'd make my late game fights easier, but all it really did was make my early game fights harder, and I found that out by losing to Opposite Armor 20 times, because I didn't have the guard ability. Now, Opposite Armor is not hard, and it's part of the reason I got so frustrated fighting it. The main issue I would run into is that I couldn't parry it in time to stop a head spin or a feet twirl, and I'd get binked and bonked by the smallest thing, but if I had had block, NBD. You can see in the original video of it, I actually get fed up and stop, and then literally come back to succeed a different day after collecting guard a single level later. I also learned the unconscious bodies of Donald and Goofy can block Opposite Armor's energy blasts. We love to see it. Next was Pot Centipede, where I had just a rip-roaring bad time. Sonic Blade is really useful to us, but Pot Centipede absolutely loves to randomly charge, and it'll just body us, even in times where it doesn't make sense. There's also random dive-bombing pot spiders, so watch out for those fuckers too. Side note, I regret not getting Donald and Goofy stronger weapons as I went, because I did rely on their help for a lot of the early game, especially before having invincibility frame moves like Strike Raid or Leaf Bracer, so, you know, help your teammates if you want to try this. This is one cool cat and or kitten I could do without. The Tiger Head I only lost to once, which is surprising, because we all know with the flying enemies around and the laser eyes, it can be a real zoo. You can really earn your stripes. Ooh, unfortunately, this fight is sort of an RNG situation if you get whacked or not. You can use Simba to stun or defeat the Heartless the Cave barfs up, but our main goal should be balancing eye damage, as in not defeating one too soon before the other. Just do that and you'll have a roaring good time. Jafar is an absolute cakewalk, another gold win. The speedrun strat is very effective. We do 2 air hits and then we do Blizzard as our finisher. We hit him a bunch, and then when he becomes a little ball, we stand in the middle of this hill, but closer to the entrance door, so that Jafar goes back to the short platform, and then we just repeat from the 2 hits in Blizzard. Now, Genie Jafar I actually did lose because I didn't have any sound on, which marks the second huge mistake I made. Please play this with sound on. So for Genie Jafar, beat the crap out of Iago like we normally would, block or dodge the Molten Balls, dodge Jafar's slap, then, if at any point we can't reach Iago, use Blizzara on Jafar for extra damage. But otherwise, he's
too easy. Piece of cake.
Next is the 2 Parasite Cage fights in Monstra, which I'm just going to mash into one section because they're pretty much the same. For the first fight, we can just spam magic. Now theoretically, we could also use 0 XP for this fight, which would make our magic hit harder. And as for the second fight, that's what I did. We'll hit Parasite Cage with a combo, and then post up on this Sphincter entrance, ew, and spam Fire, and then we stay there unless Parasite Cage sucks up and spews out stomach acid, in which case we just run up and stand next to it or behind Parasite Cage. Then go back to the Sphincter and we repeat. Big dumb shark doo. Sorry. The shark in Atlantica is next. Now we only need to fight it once to progress, so when that happened, I used 0 XP, Spellbinder, and just swam up and down casting Thundara repeatedly while waiting for the shark to reach me, obtaining another gold win. Ursula with the Cauldron. I hate this fight. Ugh, okay. Sound cues are almost a necessity for this fight because Flotsam and Jetsam will just blindside you.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I learned 2 things. The Cauldron color depicts what spell Ursula is casting and not what spell you need to use, so spamming Fire on it will work for the entire fight. Also, make sure you're set up completely for strength, because damaging Ursula when she's unconscious is what's absolutely the most important thing. The hard part is dodging Flotsam and Jetsam while spamming Fire, while making sure the Cauldron explodes before Ursula's spells activate, and then dodging Ursula's spin attack, which you can actually do pretty easily by swimming downward by her Cauldron. Good luck! Giant Ursula, by comparison, is just a big waiting game. It helped me a lot to turn off Mermaid Kick and to attack her from the back of the head, especially when she's sucking in because there's no lightning being cast while she does that. Strategy-wise, hit and run is all we need to do. This strategy took me about 9 minutes to beat her on the winning run, so yeah, it's a bit of a time sink, excuse the pun, but it works. You could also stay in the fray and use Leaf Bracer to keep you from taking damage, if you have it, but that's a risky move. Pegasus Cup time. Now, I didn't talk about the Fill Cup because I don't count any of the enemies in there as a boss or a mini-boss. However, Leon and Yuffie at the end of the Pegasus Cup.
You bet your sweet bippy.
The sad thing about doing any cup, though, is that if you lose, you have to redo the whole tournament. Hate that for us. Also, taking damage at any point in the first 9 seeds don't count. Only being damaged on the boss fight itself matters for the challenge. That being said, I had to redo the Pegasus Cup 5 times because I lost 4 times against Leon and Yuffie. The good news is we can just quit out if we get hit and keep all the XP we gain from doing it, so it isn't totally for nothing. Now the strategy for these two was to Sonic Blade the crap out of Yuffie. Be extra careful of her glowing shuriken, because it will, oh boy it will. And then when she's defeated, we Sonic Blade Leon until we run out of like Ethers and Mega Ethers, which we need to equip beforehand, along with one elixir we'll use at the end of the second seed. So, once we're out of items, we let Donald and Goofy beat him up until he's one hit away, and then we cast Fire on him if you have magic. Or we can wait till he jumps, and then we just hit him in the air. Now let's head to Halloween Town. First on our list is Lock, Shock, and Barrel. We're going to do a Thundera spam on them, keep Donald and Jack in the party, specifically so they can do it too, set them up to be heavy-handed with standard magic, and make sure Jack's only ability is Thunder. The fight is over almost instantly. Another gold win. Now for Oogie Boogie, I use 0 XP Genie strat, where you just need to do a combo to Oogie, then drop down and summon Genie. Then just exterminate Oogie Boogie's health. Get it? Cause he's a bag of bugs? Yeah. I did lose once, because I didn't drop down, which turned the camera around on me, and that allowed Oogie to bitch slap me. As for Giant Oogie, the biggest issue is dodging the fireballs. This fight feels very RNG heavy, especially since you can get burned from just falling off the bridge. The speedrun strat of damaging the first 4 boils down to 1 hit and then destroying the next 3 is exactly what we're going to do. However, in this case, it's better to destroy number 6 and 7 and then come back for 5, because 5 is in the danger zone. The reason we bring the first 4 down to a single hit is because after 3 boils are destroyed, Gargoyle Heartless show up, and they'll make our lives even harder. So no matter what, your goal needs to be cutting your losses. If you gotta leap off to survive, do it. You can climb back up. That being said, don't soft reset here. If you get hit, go up to the lantern platform and just get killed instead. Anti-Sora time! Which, I only had 2 losses.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Here's my super bizarre strategy. Turn on 0 XP. Block at the start of the fight. Don't forget it! Then we do a combo, hop on the bed, summon Genie, cast repeated stop on Anti-Sora while using Genie to obliterate his health. When Genie fades, we summon Bambi and then switch between the Thundara and stop spells until Bambi disappears. Make sure you have a treasure magnet on so you can pick up Bambi's MP orbs. Then, this will either defeat Anti-Sora or it won't. If not, keep moving or hang out on the bed and spam Thundara some more. Now for Captain Hook, I like to run back to the cabin save point after the Heartless fight and then return to the deck to fight it. During the Hook fight though, if the Battleship Heartless hits me at all, that does count as a loss. Sometimes it's better to break the cannons on the Battleship Heartless so it can't shoot you or heal Hook, or just destroy it entirely, because that will give you an opening when Hook calls in another. I lost 4 times, but my winning strategy was strike rate spam. Made it easy like Sunday morning. Hercules Cup time. Now, halfway through is a rematch with Cloud, which, okay, so here's another secret weird rule that I didn't mention earlier that's honestly just kind of tournament specific. Say we beat Cloud and then lose to Hercules. According to this dumbass rule, we will need to refight Cloud without taking a hit in order to reface Hercules, even though we already technically beat him without taking a hit.
And the reason is? Because I say so, that's why!
Now that will matter more specifically in my case for the Hades Cup, because I didn't lose to Hercules. So for Cloud, I do the same strategy as our first fight, but I also add in Sonic Blade so that he'll get stunned, mainly to prevent his Omni Slash from triggering. As for Hercules, we absolutely can just cheese it after throwing the first barrel and knocking him out of God mode. Then, just spam Sonic Blade. Use Ethers when necessary until he's defeated. Now for Entrance Hall Riku. Dark Riku. Jerk McJerkface Riku. Strategy. We wait for him to do a slash and dash attack, then we block the dash part, and then step forward and we use Ars Arcanum on him, but no triangle prompts. As a side, I did this twice, but if I had equipped more items, I probably could have beat him faster. So, if you run out of magic, run around until he leaps into the air, and then we can combo him on the way down until we win. As for Maleficent, the mistress of big horns and the queen of pointless inclusions in future installments, our strategy will be a variant on the speedrun strategy. And it has to be a variant because we will not be the same level and will have different equipment as speedrunners by this point. Essentially though, at the start, we jump and glide onto her platform and do a few sets of 2 air hits. Then, Ars Arcanum when she summons her purple lightning. More air hits, no finishers, Ars Arcanum, and then, I got thrown off. Which can happen. Best way to recover from that is to follow her platform to the door side of the room, and then let her disappear or fly back to the altar side. If that doesn't happen, just use gravity on her platform, then immediately hop on and Ars Arcanum her. If she disappears to go back to the other side, then repeat the original strategy after the blue energy is under her platform. Dragon Maleficent. More like, Dragon Idiot. Got him. We're going to use 0 XP, air combo, stop, and genie strategy. Take a look. Another gold win. Oh lord, okay. And some Riku. Keyblade Riku. Emo Chemical Romance Riku. Fuck this guy. After 24 losses, I eventually came out on top. I tried the speedrun strat, but it was really difficult to do without taking damage. So what we'll do is dodge Riku's slam, then use Ars Arcanum. And you do that until Riku fondles the air for an energy ball. Then we'll just strike raid spam. That's what I used to win. Also, you can stand here after Riku's first Dark Aura dash, and the rest of the attack will just miss you completely. Now for the Behemoth on the second visit. Basically, all Behemoths work the same as far as dodging their attacks, so here's my tips. We don't stand under them when they leap. Logical. We do about 2.5 combos to their horn when they've fallen down, then run really far so that we're out of range of the lightning strike attack. Or Leaf Bracer through it, or if you're really poggers, you can dodge out of it. And lastly, we'll hide under it for when it uses its Spirit Bomb. Next is the Hades Cup. I'll list the wins and loses that happened, but like I said before, I'm not going to repeat any previously beaten boss strategies. Also for the Hades Cup, since we can exit and re-enter every 10 seeds, you won't have to start from seed 50 if you fail. So for example, let's say you fight Cerberus at seed 30, and you get hit. You'll just have to restart from seed 39 or 40, whatever it is, not restart the whole tournament again. Like I said before, masochistic, but not like that much. Yuffie, 2 losses, 2 wins. Little tip, having Aroga up will help deflect her small shuriken. Destroyed Behemoth, 1 loss, 1 win. Cerberus, 0 losses, 1 win. For Cloud and Leon, my strategy here was Sonic Blade spam. First, we let Cloud and Leon knock out Donald and Goofy, then we Sonic Blade the crap out of Cloud. We have to make sure that Leon is stunned and that every second Sonic Blade, we hit Leon too, with at least 1 raid, so that they both stay stunned. We'll also use Ethers when necessary. Now, we're going to continue to Sonic Blade until Cloud is defeated. Then, we just do the same to Leon, ad nauseum. I had 7 losses and 1 win. Yeesh. Hades, yeesh. Okay, so, Strike Raid really helped me out, but the reason I lost 11 times is mainly because I kept getting pot shot when he'd do his finger guns at me, but also because I'd really try to make getting super far away from him viable when he does his flame spin. Like, does it work? Can I get far away from it and it not hit me? Yes. But did it get me most of my losses? Oh, most definitely. Rock Titan, unsurprisingly gold win, no contest. I don't even know how to explain how to do this, because just hitting it a lot will work. I guess when hitting its head, eventually the head you're hitting will lift up, so switch heads, and that way you won't get bonked. Other than that, just don't be on the ground when it does its ground slam, and don't be under its feet when it stomps. Now, side note, if you're curious why I'm not counting some of the intermittent bosses like Sorceress Armor, Stealth Sneaks, and Opposite Armor, it's because I don't want to. Shut up. Woo! End of the world. For every Behemoth fight, which is 3 of them, I got 1 loss and 3 wins. The only different thing here is that you could use the gravity strategy if you're mainly a magic user, which means just spam gravity on the horn, but that's a you choice. Now as for Chernobog, I lost 5 times, which mainly was because I kept doing stupid stuff, so for your consideration, Fly away when he does his fire pillar. Keep Aroga up when he uses his blue energy blast. And don't fly into his mouth when he breathes fire. Pretty straightforward. You'd think I would have realized that, but here we are. Bear in mind, Aroga doesn't always block Chernobog's fire energy blasts. It'll block the blue ones, but not always the red ones. So I got no idea why that is. Okay, final boss time. Let's lightning round them. So for Ansem 1, I use 0 XP in the Mushu strat, though you do gotta position him above you so that he doesn't have his guardian saw you in half like a shitty magician. 10 losses, 2 wins. Second win was because I lost power and had to fight him again, which sucks, but I did it in one try by just hitting him, which is not at all frustrating. I lost against Darkseid after that, a total of 2 times, but beat it 39 times, which, yes, means I fought Darkseid 41 times. And that's because, for Ansem 2, I really struggled. This is another RNG sort of situation. Using the speedrun strat works most of the time, but his attacks can really screw you over, especially when you don't have sound cues to help you. His charge is what got me a lot of the time. Ansem 3, 0 XP and Fire-Raga spam is what I did, which works, but does take forever, because halfway through he summons a billion lasers, which is not great. Now, all the mini-enemy sections count as part of the boss fight, so being hit by these Shadow Heartless, the future Dark Balls, and the future Invisibles does indeed count. Be sure you don't muscle memory soft reset, make sure you just let them kill you, or you'll have to start from Ansem 1 again. For the Shadows, my winning strategy was jumping and using Thundaga spam. Next is this little artillery section. We'll keep Aroga on, and use Graviga on the big penises. I mean the artillery that's sitting in the center. If you get wind blasted by the Guardian, make sure you dodge the single laser that comes with it. Dark Balls are a huge pain in the ass. I used Ars Arcanum spam, but it kinda sucks. If you have Strike Raid spam, it seems like it'd be a lot easier. World of Chaos, or the weird head thing, I did the 0 XP and then fire spam, but you gotta stay in motion. You can also use Ars Arcanum on Baby, top of its head, but this is another gonna take forever fight. Now, Invisibles are the worst. I actually got my first Perma L here because Donald kept healing me before I could die, so I wasn't able to beat them. And as far as any strategy, speedrunners use gravity spam, so try that, but I think Strike Raid spam would absolutely work. I just didn't have it equipped. No losses against the core, because gravity-ing it just obliterates it. And last is Ansem 4, well, not last because of the secret bosses, but last for the lightning round. Mushu spam just obliterated him, except when it didn't. Well, mostly it did, but Mushu ran out, so then I had to just combo him till I got it. Gold win, though. Secret bosses! Woo! Okay, Phantom is stupid easy. I did lose twice, but I also perfected my strategy, so here's what we'll do. Before we leave the cabin, make sure Goofy has MP Gift and no other abilities, but also Ethers and Mega Ethers so that he can give you Max Magic. Make sure you have those too. In the fight, we let Peter be taken by the clock spell. Fuck you, Peter. Obviously, we cast Fire, Blizzard, or Thunder on the Phantom, but for when it attacks us, we fly straight down when it swipes at us, and then fly straight up immediately after. When Phantom uses its Dark Blast, which is where it kind of like feels up its own mouth, we hide on the side of the clock tower, and we can also at that point use Stop on the Clock when that clock spell is over Goofy. And we just repeat until we win. Kurt Ziza, I lost once because I didn't think to use the Mushu strategy, so the second time that's what I did, and I tore it to pieces. So for phase 2, when Kurt Ziza's in a shell, don't dismiss or use Mushu, just spam Gravity or Fire-Raga on Kurt Ziza. When the shell eventually falls, use Mushu's Flame Breath on it again and we'll win. Unknown was, excuse my French, a doo-doo head. So I use the speedrun strat of Graviga, jump, combo, Graviga, and it's hard to get used to, but when you do, it can obliterate Unknown's health, until it casts its Desperation move. Then, I recommend using Strike Raid spam, basically anytime Unknown breathes. You can check out this video for more details on what I did. Here's the Ice Titan Cliff Notes. Gravity spam the first phase, corner hop and block during the second phase, and for the third phase, wait for the Kamehameha, Leaf Brace for the Ice Ball, and then block the Ice Shards. Repeat. This video has way more details about it, though. Fun fact. It's so fun. It's very, very fun. The fact is, I almost gave up on the challenge fighting Sephiroth. Almost. but I did make it. I pulled it out of my ass and I made it. So I lost count around loss 200-ish. So after an estimated 720 losses, I did finally beat him. I used a mix of Will JV2 strategy, link in the description, and strike rate spam. And just, if you do this challenge, save yourself the trouble. Don't do secret bosses. Sephiroth will break you. And that's how you can beat Kingdom Hearts without taking any boss damage. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Means of affirmation after this. Goodbye!